I can see the stars align, dance around the moon every night. And now my eyes are open wide, and the sky has never looked so bright. And I don't need to see the road to believe, yeah. 'Cause this is where I'm meant to be, I believe. And I feel the magic everywhere. It's all around us, it's in the air. And I see the magic we can share. So much wonder everywhere. And I feel the magic, can you imagine? And I feel the magic, can you imagine? And I feel the magic, it's all around us. And I feel the magic, it's all around us. There's wonder on this winding road in front of me, yeah. 'Cause I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And I feel the magic everywhere. It's all around us, it's in the air. And I see the magic we can share. So much wonder everywhere. And I feel the magic, can you imagine? And I feel the magic, can you imagine? And I feel the magic, it's all around us. And I feel the
Oh, Twinkle 33. I love Monday evenings too. That was a lovely comment to see. Thank you. Good evening, Linda, Michelle, Lisa, Tanya, Jackie. You're all very quick off the mark tonight. Well done, everyone. And Jackie, so good to see that you've got some coverage. And coverage kind of comes into the topic that I have for you tonight. And I'd like to say good evening or good day to our other viewers who have joined us, maybe watching without saying hello, but you're more than welcome. That's great, Jackie. You're more than welcome. I'm delighted to have you here. If we haven't met before and you are just new to Soul and Beyond, I'm Gwenda, your host, mystic, esoteric, mystic, medium, healer, soul mentor. Oh, so many hats, labels. Hi, Mandy. Good to see you here too, darling. Labels is something that I've talked about before, and why do we have them? Well, I suppose really we can say it's a human thing, right? It's a human thing. Now, those who are watching on the outskirts, if you come on in, you're able to actually have a conversation with me and share with everyone else that's here. So you're more than welcome to do that. So talking about labels and naming things. So we call this a dragon. And we would call that a hand, a carving of a hand, and this a pen, this a lamp, this a candle. How else are we going to communicate in this world if we don't have labels? When it comes to titles and labels, it's the same thing. It's really a way of describing what someone is going to be able to offer or bring to you. So if you're going to see someone for skeletal issues, you would look for maybe a chiropractor or a physio, because we know that's what that title means. So titles have a place and have a meaning, but, it's the language thing. In fact, I was having a wonderful conversation with my man today about the fact that in spirit, and when angels and guides speak to us, they don't talk to us in this language. They talk to us on a very high frequency, which a lot of people can pick up as static or a squealing in their ears, really interesting noises. And you've got to ask them to bring their frequency through at a way that will translate so that our brains can understand it. Now I'm going to flip that over and say that when you go to a higher consciousness, you can use telepathy, and there's no talking in that. What does the other person receive? They receive energy, the same as doing an energy healing, an energy practice. It's energy. There's no words, there's no descriptions, it's simply energy. So how do we do that? It is a case of transmitting through intention, and it's what you carry on that intention that comes through to the other person. Now, as some of you know, I have the ability to do what's called teleporting. So I can teleport myself to your lounge room and sit next to you. I can teleport myself to anywhere in the world. You can, whoa, who did that? You can do that too. You can teach yourself how to teleport because you are not this physical structure. I did ask for some visitation tonight for this topic. Now, I am curious as to who just tried to walk into me, who just tried to walk into my physical self, bounced both of us. They got bounced out and I got bounced. Whoa, really threw me off there for a little minute. And you know why? Because it's funny, we've gone on this tangent about communication, language, titles, because I'm going to talk to you about aliens and alien contact. So it's interesting. Very funny, Lisa. So it's interesting to have this interference. And I hope they bounced out the other side just as much as it felt a bounce for me. Where does this come in to language, telepathy, teleportation? It comes in a lot. Because when you are starting to evolve and become a lot more aware of energy, you then become more aware of a higher conscious state. You then become aware of the greater fields of your energy, which leads you into different dimensions, different aspects of yourself, different versions of yourself that you can communicate with. And then, of course, it takes you into the realms of guides, angels, archangels, and ascended masters, and so on. Now, as we know, we are an eternal being because we are a soul, a spirit, right? So why would we be of so much interest to other things, other species, let's call them? Why would we be of so much interest that they would want to invade us, that they would want to live among us, that they would want to communicate with us? How many of you have seen the series of the movies Men in Black? Oh, good evening, Karen Mack. How many of you have seen any of the movies Men in Black? Men in Black is set up as a bit of a spoof, a bit of a comedy in a way, and yet there are some very heavy messages in those movies. That's right, Linda Gold, that they do. So I'm going to come to that. No, I don't think so. Oh, wow, Tanya. I am actually a fan of Men in Black because watching that I found hilarious for when I'm able to see behind the human suit or the pretend human suit, I can see what it is that is residing in that and pick these other beings and other creatures out and know that that's what I'm talking to. And they also know that that's what I can do. And they're often uncomfortable and don't like being around where I am, and they'll skedaddle. Good eye, Jackie. Or Lisa, don't like them. I love them. So Men in Black is Will Smith and can't remember the other guy's name, but he's a cracker. And they are secret government agents who work for a secret part of the government, and they go around getting rid of invasion from other species. And they have this little gadget that if they run into a human who has seen too much, they go in the face of the human and they've forgotten everything they saw. Pay attention to that. They go and the human has forgotten everything they saw. Now, we have a thing in this world called media and movies, the TV screen. And now even YouTube slips into this same category. And it's where the government puts forward the things they want you to know, that they want you to have in your mind. Behind the screens are all sorts of other noises, colors, patterns that you do not pick up with your physical eyes or your physical ears, but you do pick them up on a higher frequency. Now, when we have these visitors from other places or those that want to move in here, they utilize those things. They know how to. And what I want to share with you is that on my way home yesterday from Geraldton, I put a particular episode of something on I wanted to listen to, and it was interrupted. It was interrupted by a podcast. Well, because I was driving, I couldn't stop it and change it. But I also thought, well, obviously someone wants me to listen to this because it's not my usual. And what the fellow was talking about is he channels an alien being, an ET, extraterrestrial. And he was talking about, this is this year, by the way, this was only a couple of weeks ago that this podcast of him was on, because of course I had to look it up to see what's this about. And he's saying that the ET he channels has told him that we are going to have a lot more contact. They are going to make themselves a lot more visible. So you will see a lot more what's called UFO sightings. The part I found really interesting was he said that already different government agencies, not government departments, but government agencies are already working with these beings so that when the government unveils it, they can put forward that these beings are peaceful, benign, and they are here for our benefit. Interesting. He also channels that these beings have many thousands of years ago, they injected their genetic material, I like the words, genetic material, into the humanoid that was already on the planet to create something more like themselves. Now, as I said, I can see behind the human suit. I know what it is that I'm looking at, and I've done that all my life. So it's no surprise to me to hear him say that this ET that he channels has talked about that. Then I know of another person in America, and she talks to future humans. She talks to all different species, galactic beings and things. And she thinks that's wonderful. I have my own opinion on that. But what Linda Gold said a while ago, want our materials. So let's think about this for a moment. We have this being channeling through this person who, by the way, is a hybrid himself. He is not a natural human being. It's his own kind that he is, and he's talking from their transmissions. So these other species arrived here because their planet, which they were busy messing up, needed minerals. And this planet, Earth, is extremely rich in minerals and resources. But these ETs, when they arrive here, they can't function here. So they have to have some kind of human suit. So for them to be able to get access to our minerals, yes, they had to create slaves. And what better slaves were there than the humanoids that were already here? What better slaves were there than to create their own image? Take that genetic material and create some of their own kind with the humanness in it. How many of you have seen movies or read books about ETs and about their invasion of this world or their engagement with humans in this world? Now, I have got a ripper question to ask you all on this topic, so hang around. Yes, humanoid, Tanya, that's actually what they're called. Yes, Mandy, it is Bashar. Yep. And he looks like one, right? So, oh, well, yes, Lisa, of course it is. There, Mandy, that's exactly right. And that's why it made me laugh to hear this fellow who channels Bashar, hear him say in such a gentle voice that the government agencies are getting ready to let people know, let the humans know that it's okay. We've been working with these extraterrestrials for a long time, and they've been among you for a long time, and they are peaceful, benign, and here for our benefit. In a different language or in a different term, these particular ones that he refers to and that he is one of are called greys. Now, how many of you have had any interaction with ETs? Have any of you seen UFOs? Have any of you had any engagement with greys? Because they would be the most common ET that has been on this planet that also let themselves be seen very early in the piece. So way back in the early days. So here we are with this information that these different extraterrestrials have deliberately taken the humanoid and injected them with their genetic material to create a crossbreed, right? You can see them everywhere. They're all over the place. You only have to look for the eyes. And also they get a strange colour of skin. They don't wear the suit very well, which is what I love about the movies Men in Black. It shows the difficulty they have in wearing the suit, the human suit. Oh my, was it Karen? Well, that's interesting. I like what Karen has said here. Yep. And they want more and more, and this is why, well, it's why I believe we are seeing so much more devastation of our planet, and why they want so many more of our minerals. Just keep going until they wreck the planet as they have done their own. So over the years, as I was saying about TV and media, movies, and books, there are always messages, always. The fact is, most people ignore them, especially if it seems too sci-fi, especially if it seems something, it's out there, like even angels and movies about ghosts and all of the magical work. They people don't believe it. It's, they don't want to believe it. It couldn't be right. And the funny thing is, many people will accept something about ETs, but they won't accept. No, he actually talks about the greys and says that he is grey. I mean, it's very obvious. Her dad and brother were greys. Well, there you go. They're everywhere. They are the most prolific of them. I had one fly with me on the outside of a plane. I actually drew it in the back of the book. I was astounded at this face that was right there looking at me through the window. So my question is, yes, Jackie, share away, Jackie, because many sightings over the years and experiences have been reported from the Nullarbor. And of course they would land out there. They don't have to land among all the houses and things, and they can easily be non-detected. But we do also have, I can't remember the name of the place. There is a particular place in the middle of the desert in South Australia, and it's actually a base for American military. Some Australian are there too, and it is reported that they have a lot to do with engagement with ETs at that base. So much government engagement, but you've got to wonder why there would be government engagement. Does it not stand to reason it's because they're dealing with their own people? Wow, our own Blue Mountains, Linda. Now that's really interesting. Blue Mountains Triangle. So it's essentially a portal. I'm going to channel into that. Triangle. There's a ridge. They tell me there's a ridge, and under that ridge, under the ridge is the opening for them to come and go. Pine Gap. That's it. Thank you, Karen. Yes, Pine Gap. Well, that's great, Lisa. Yep, Pine Gap. That is the one. Oh, Tanya. Woohoo. Don't be going looking around at the Blue Mountains. It's not a good idea. So, movies. First Contact, E.T., Cocoon, Devil from Mars. That was actually made in the 1940s. Can you believe it? And it's a scary movie. My Favorite Martian, something that kids, TV series that I thoroughly enjoyed as a little girl, and yet it was them telling us this is how we work, this is how we arrive. But people just saw it as a silly TV series. Alien, Invasion Planet Earth, Day the Earth Stood Still, Star Wars, and The Thing. So They wanted to get all of the wonders that the earth holds, and they couldn't because they didn't have the capacity. They don't have a physical body to do that. So they have crossbred with humans to create a race that could manage it. And then it is said that that actually broke universal law and God's law. So they were retrieved from the planet, they were taken away, but they had to leave the human cross that they had created. So they have watched over their own ever since. And the story goes that they were to watch over their own until the society of them were able to manage by themselves. Because of the disruption in the world in the last 4 years, it's believed that they now feel they need to come back and show themselves to everybody and show themselves as what they can do, remembering that the government's going to let you know that they've been working with them for a long time and that they are benign, they're kind, and therefore our greater good. More spin is, Lisa says BS. Yep, that'd be right. So they created this crossbreed. Now, in the meantime, other species came here and there was a war. And then they wanted to own the human being, and that wasn't allowed. That was also another breach of universal law and God's law. So there's been a continual war of trying to win the humans. And what they did do was create a race of slaves. Now, some of you know that I have a little quiz called Master or Slave. When you believe in the system and you support the system through the way you live, through the way that you look after your health, your wellness, the way you think, then you are in that slave humanness. You are in their trap, right? And everyone who comes here knows that what I'm about is aligning you with your soul, aligning you with your divine self and with the divine, getting out of that trap, out of that rat race, and getting out of the alien hold, the slave hold. When I was 15, we went to a particular dam here in Western Australia because it was quite a thing to see when it flooded and also when it's in drought. Well, I thought I was really cool because I had a brand new Polaroid camera, you know, the instant ones that spit your picture out and you can see it developing. So I was taking photos with my new flash Polaroid to show mum and dad what the dam was looking like. And, you peel back the black thing, the black cover off it to see your picture. And I was like, whoa. And I showed the first one, handed it to my friend, and they're like, oh, that's something on the lens of the camera. I had taken others as they were passing that one around, and as each one developed, oh my gosh. And what I actually took was a whole series of a fleet of UFOs, looked like they were coming out of the pine plantation. And this is for anyone that's West Australian, around the Harvey area, Harvey Collie. And I had these brilliant photos of these UFOs. Well, I couldn't wait to go home and show mum and dad. Not long after going home and showing them, and it's very, very clear that it was not anything to do with a smudge on the lens, anything to do with the camera. There was no mistake about it, in size, in being able to see everything. Well, I don't remember the time frame. I just know it wasn't long after. My dad used to love to read the Post magazine, and the Post magazine, anybody know it? Used to used to have lots of articles about sightings of UFOs on the Nullarbor and alien interaction. And people thought that was very funny. So my dad had thoughts about having my photos in the Post magazine. That's right. We knock on the door this particular night, and my mum goes to the door, and she was very protective. And I hear her say, "What do you want with my daughter?" And then she calls my dad. And I hear Dad talking, and I hear this man's voice. Then Dad calls me. And I come out, and here is this very tall man in a long black trench coat, black boots. He looked weird. And he said to me, "Where are your photos?" And being the smart teenager, you know, I said, "What photos?" And he said, "You know the photos you took. What did you see?" Now, remember what I said about Men in Black? You saw nothing. He said, "What did you see?" I said, "I didn't see anything." Well, my father went and got those photos and gave them to that very, very tall man in black, and we never saw them again. And he said to me again, "You saw nothing." He didn't know who he was talking to because I had told people forever what I saw and what I took photos of, but we never saw those photos again, and we never saw him again. It was amazing. So I'm just going to pause here and have a look at your comments. Yeah, thanks, Twinkle. Yeah. So everybody heard of Area 51 in the States. So we have Area 52, and of course we would, because it is run by the US military. Chipped and following in a line through the evening, presence was strong. There you go. This is what Jackie has witnessed and seen on the Nullarbor in Australia. So when you hear of people saying they were abducted, they were chipped, they had different experiments done on them, it is true. It's not that they're that they've lost the plot. How do you tell them apart? Can you just expand on that, please, Tanya? Tanya? How is it that the humans they have procreated with don't know? They're not allowed to know, Lisa. The same as humans who do not connect with their higher self. The same with humans who do not connect with faith and the divine. They have forgotten. Oh, my dad loved that magazine, yeah. It's Mandy. Yeah, it sure was. Men in Black, yeah. Yeah, so it was, oh my goodness, is right, Tanya. It was an amazing experience. And then over the years, over the course of my years, I've had different experiences with other extraterrestrials, other beings. And that's what I feel walk through me, not happy with what I'm going to say tonight. Are the greys always wearing black, for instance? No, they don't, Tanya. No, they've learnt to assimilate more. It's more their face structure, and it's very much their eyes. And I had to laugh because that fella Bashar, he actually talked when the woman asked, "Have you met?" Sorry, his name's not Bashar. The name is Bashar. The woman interviewing him asked, "Have you seen Bashar? Do you know what he looks like?" And he describes him, and I was laughing my head off. I thought, yeah, I've had interaction with those kind of beings, those ETs. And he said it's the eyes that are really most capturing for you. Well, he has those eyes. You can't get away from them. Oh, is it, Jackie? Interesting. I can hear a little bit of a crackle. So one thing that that came to mind that I wanted to share with you tonight is it's believed that God, Source, the Creator, created all of the universe, and that humans, it's said, was the Creator's favorite, and that we are sparks, divine sparks of the divine. As you know, for me, that's God, right? Some people Source or whatever. So why is it, and how could it possibly be, that other species who do not have a soul or a spirit, why would they be so interested in the human being and in everything that the human being is? Why would they be so interested to be doing experiments, to be cloning, to be injecting their own genetic material to make hybrids of themselves and a human? Why would they do that when they don't have a soul like the human being? And that was the question that I want you to think about tonight, so that when you are thinking about life purpose, what is life all about, what is this world all about, to know that you are a most precious commodity and you are of great value to other things that are from out in the cosmos, and they would love to have your soul. They would love to know what it was like to be a human soul. So even though they came here for the riches, the minerals, and everything that this world holds, they have also become extremely interested, as Jackie said, chipping human beings, doing experiments on them. And that's been written about for decades and decades and decades. And in the Indigenous people of Australia, there are many drawings in the caves and things of extraterrestrials. Now, one thing that this fella said in his interview was that these greys watching over the society and waiting for a time to come back and let everyone know that we're back and we're here for you, benign, peaceful, and for your benefit. He also went on to say that this is why there's sightings of what people call angels. And that's what got my attention. Excuse me? You're trying to say that these greys have been perpetuating themselves, so when people think they're seeing an angel, they're actually having interaction with a grey? I'm going to come back to my question. The human being is the only being that has a soul. Angels belong to God. They are a creation of God. They are God's minders for humans. To say that imagery of an angel, the story of angels, comes from the greys watching over Earth, watching over the society. How's that sit with you? What do you feel in that? Priceless. There are many different species, and there have been many wars between the species. In fact, what's been going on for ages here, and the most worst spiritual war has been in this last 4 years, coming to an end soon enough. And not everybody will survive, but that's the way it goes because of free will. So there are what are called Acturians, there are Palladians, there are the Reptilians, there are Dracos, the Greys. Now, don't get me wrong, in all species it is evident that there are those that we may term as good and those that are not necessarily so good. it is evident that that element appears to be in all species. I kind of hesitate if it's in all species, because some, well, they're just from the dark. So when we want to be part of the big end of this spiritual war, and we want to be able to return home to what we may call the planes of heaven, the realms of heaven, then we need to know how to be aligned with the divine and with our soul. We need to know how to shift our consciousness. When you are unconscious, you live in a place of panic, of fear, of overwhelm, believing the government, believing the media, believing what you read in the newspaper, being absorbed by other people's trash, being absorbed by other people's panic and fear. You believe in rushing off to the doctor to be medicated, to be labelled, to have a title of what's wrong with you. You're on a very, very, very low level of consciousness. When you start to move your consciousness, you start to see that these things are not what you are really about, and you start to seek your life purpose. You start to seek to know how to heal yourself, how to be in alignment with the authentic part of you, the essence of you. When you start to move on that higher consciousness, you understand life here differently. You also capture the attention of other things that are wandering around, either in the physical form or in the ethers. But as you move into higher consciousness, you know how to be aligned with the God force and with the light of the divine that comes with that. And know that you are an eternal spark of the divine, and that no harm can come to your eternal spark, your soul. So those of you who move in consciousness and who make those transitions, you are the ones who will be going when the light shines, when God says that's enough and the light shines over this world. You're the ones who will be going to that higher level of earth. The rest will stay behind. And I'm going to say to you, this is free will. Those who choose to stay in a very low frequency and believe that that's how life is, well, they will stay behind. I like to think about a movie called War of the Worlds. Has anyone seen that? Tremendous messages in that. Is that what the world will look like? Doubt it. But when you make the decision to be in alignment with your soul, with the divine, you must know that others you love will not make that same choice. And that's just the way it is. It's like, and if you choose to run back to be with them, that's your free will. And then you will stay with them in whatever capacity there is, whatever the world's capacity and life is at that time. So when you start to hear these wonderful stories from the government about these beings having been here for a long time, and they've been working with them for a long time, and they're benign and they're peaceful, maybe you'd like to move into a higher level of consciousness. And you know where you can learn that and be held and supported? You can come into the spiritual school of Wesh, if you need to have a place where you can stay in alignment, where you can learn the practices and know that you are going in the right direction. Well, the right direction if that's what you want it to be. Let's see what you're all having to say here. The eyes are very almond and they tend to go up, and they're also, dare I say, very black. But they have a different kind of blackness. So the divine created earth and humans then, full stop. Well, why did the divine need to create anything else? I felt I needed to let my son know that he will witness this in his lifetime last week and to not be afraid. Well done, Karen, and you're on the money. And the more people that start to find that they are speaking about this, it means it's coming closer. When you feel that urge to talk about seeing a huge light come over the earth, engulf everything, and everything stops, then you are on the right bus, and you instinctively know that everything's coming to an end. Yes, loads of drawings. Oh no, Tanya. 14, age 14, chatting with friends about aliens and if they're real. I said, I believe they are. And a friend said, if so, why can't we see them? Good answer, Twinkle. Very good answer. We are programmed. We are programmed not to see lots of things. Need to use Discernment, by golly. Yes, Mandy, and whilst that is a word that is very important, the more important part of it is making a choice to be in alignment with your divinity and with the divine. And then there's no need to be in discernment. Why would people choose to stay behind? It's not so much they choose to stay behind, Tanya, it's that they refuse to go into a higher consciousness. They believe in what they believe in, that this tangible world is all there is. They believe in the government. It's all about choice. Soundtrack so much. Feel and see that. Yeah, lots happening, and there is lots going on. Yeah. So it's all really interesting stuff, and it's what I'm asking you to think about. We are such a beautiful creation that we are the envy of the universe. And envy, you could say, is a very low vibration, but it's, again, using language, a word so that we can understand what I mean. We are the most amazing creation, and so many other species are fascinated by the human being. They're also fascinated by the free will that we have, and that was a beautiful gift from our Creator, God, Source. So when you start to hear of these things, and you are going to hear more and more over coming months, weeks, you're going to experience different things. Really take a step back. Mandy's word may come into play, discernment, but really take a step back and check in with yourself and see where you are in your own energy field, in your own faith and your connection to what level of consciousness. May you choose to continue to go into an expansive state of consciousness. That is my prayer and my hope for you. May you choose to be aligned with your soul and with the divine. You're going to need to be very vigilant over these coming months. But there is no fear. when you are aligned and you make that choice to be in higher consciousness, there is no fear. You know, I've had one of the leading draconians stand at my bedroom door one night, and I was just drifting to sleep and thought, oh, what is that? Could feel it. Well, the interesting thing is it could not come over the threshold. Why? What was it even doing in my house? But it couldn't come over the threshold of my bedroom. And I said, you have no place here. No place. And in the name of God, you're commanded to be gone. And it literally was like, blew up. I have no fear. I rolled over and went back to sleep. Why? Because I stay in a high state of consciousness and alignment. And it's there for you to be able to do too. It is simply choice. Yep. There'll be plenty of them around, Mandy. Thank you, Tanya. Kisses back to you also. Yes. System rebels. Love it. Thank you, Michelle. I'm delighted to have you with me. It's a joy to walk with you. So there we have it, everyone. We've done a little bit of exploration on the back of a podcast that came out of nowhere. Nothing comes out of nowhere, right? So in the back of something that I was like, what am I listening to this for? Really interesting stuff. And very importantly, remember not to get distracted. Stay in tune and attuned with your own vibe and with the divine. See yourself as having this amazing, beautiful cord of gold white light that just circles all around you and connects to that divine source of life. And you paint that picture however you want it to be. See, like this picture on here. You create the vision of what sits right in your heart. And that's what you connect to. And fill it with love. Absolute love. So signing off for this week. Thank you all for being in so quick. It's been a joy. Oh, that's beautiful, Jackie. Thank you, Twinkle. I love that you love Mondays, and I do too. Yeah, awesome stuff. So God bless everyone. Stay in that higher state of beauty and joy and thank yous and love. Good night.